Hi everybody, it's Tatiana and today I'm coming to do a book review. Hopefully it will be a quick book review. We shall see once I start talking, which is basically the way all of my book reviews go. I am reviewing The Pisces by Melissa Broder. I have to give a a nod to Dee Dee over at Brown Girl Reading for even talking about this and piquing my curiosity in regards to this novel. This was one of these long-listed novels. Was it shortlisted? I don't know. For the Bailey's Women's Prize in fiction. I do not follow literary prizes. If you are newly subscribed, words are hard, to my channel. That's just something to know about me right out the gate. I really don't pay attention to literary prizes. There were quite a few of the books, not quite a few. There were a couple books on the long list that I either already own or had already read at the point where the long list was announced, and I was really surprised by that because that is not something that happens in my reading life when it comes to award selections. So I was super surprised when I saw that. And then on Dee Dee's live streams on Instagram, she was talking a couple of times on a couple of different streams about the Pisces and how weird it was, and it had something to do with a woman having an affair with a merman. And I was like, that is like interspecies fuckery. And how you do that when, for what we know mermen to be, they have no Peter. Because what we know mer people to be, they reproduce by eggs. So anyway, I was super duper intrigued by that. She assured me that there was a Peter on said merman, and so increase of being intrigued. And so I picked up the novel. I actually read it via ebook through my library's Overdrive system, and yeah, it follows the story of Lucy, and I am not really going to give you a synopsis of this because I think in me discussing my feelings on the novel, that is going to give a lot about the synopsis of the story. In my opinion, in reading this story, this novel is all about addiction. Lucy is addicted to sex / love / attention, and it's really any form in which she can get it and be the main focus of attention. So gives her an emotional high and allows her to feel fulfilled. And there's an altercation that she has that leads to some ramifications for her legally, possibly, as well as physically, with some choices that she makes along the way that ends up with her moving to her sister's house to house sit while her sister goes on this European yoga tour, and she's house sitting and dog sitting for her sister. And this is where the majority of the story takes place, or the majority of the movement of the story takes place, because there's a lot that goes on before she gets to her sister's house that would, under any other type of circumstance with a different type of writing style, would have probably bothered me, because it was like a whole bunch of buildup to get to where the whole merman thing comes into play. But that's also another plus to the writing of Melissa Broder, because this was written very lyrically. We are in Lucy's head for the entirety of this novel. And this is the first novel that I have read really that has to do with addiction, where we are in the mind of whoever the addict is. And as someone who's only dealt with addiction, and I use it in quotation marks because I have never had an addiction, but someone who's dealt with addiction secondhand in dealing with or talking to, being around people who do suffer with different kinds of addictions, and hearing them talk about that need. Hearing them talk about the need that they have to feed their addiction, the search that they have to get that high and that relief, that need that builds up, that ends in just a really huge breath of relief once they get the hit of whatever it is they are addicted to. Reading that in Lucy was very familiar to me to see secondhand. I really appreciated that about this story, and I don't want to talk too much about the relationship that she develops with this being that she comes into contact with and has a relationship with while she's living at her sister's house, but it's also the other people that she comes in contact with and deals with in her therapy groups that have similar addictions and how it affects each of them differently, and her resistance to therapy, her resistance to the idea of recovery, as well as some of the other participants in the group session. This was just so well done. I expected it to be different from what it was, but what I appreciated most about this is that look at someone who is an addict and has that need that they have to, that they have a compulsion to fill, and the comfort that they have knowing fully that this is an addiction, knowing fully that this is really something that's out of their control. There's still a level of comfort that they have in having that addiction when they are feeding that addiction, and then the discomfort that they feel, the feelings that come along with detox, and how difficult it is to stay on the path of detox and the path of recovery when you know all you need is this little fix and it will help you feel better across the board. I don't know if that was Melissa Broder's point in writing this story, or if it was more towards the relationship that is developed between Lucy and the merman, but that is what I got from the story, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Yeah, that's all that I have to say for this. Again, if you read it, talk to me in the description, in the comments below. Just share with me what you thought about this when you read it. Do you agree with my take on it? Do you disagree? Did something else stick out to you more so than the whole addiction thing? Because I'm telling you, we read books from the experiences that we have, and I have had not a lot, but some very significant relationships growing up with people who had addictions, and so I think that's why that part of it really sticks out for me more than anything else. But yeah, talk to me in the comments below, and I hope you have a good weekend whenever you see this video. Peace out.